In this video, we'll talk about Amazon products listings copy. And our guest today is Jelena from Amazonia PPC agency. Jelena will share with you several tips on copywriting, and you will also meet our video host, LISETT LEES, which works as a store manager for different Amazon brands. And before you listen to the conversation, don't forget to subscribe below to the YouTube channel of Orange Klik, click the notification bell. Enjoy the interview.
Hello, Jelena. It's nice to have you here today to share a couple of tips about copywriting. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Lisette. I'm doing great. And I'm here today to share a couple of tips for sellers that are looking to improve their existing copywriting on their listings.
That's great. Sellers always need those ideas. So before you share us these tips, could you please introduce yourself and let us know how you help Amazon sellers?
Of course, I'm Jelena from Amazonia PPC, and we help Amazon sellers through PPC campaign management and copywriting services. We have a team of copywriters that are specialized in their own categories, so they know what they're writing about and they have interest in that specific category, which usually results with greater copywriting quality. So we have some conclusions and insights we wanted to share with you today, and I hope you find it useful.
I'm sure of that. So what would be the first takeaway for the sellers?
Yeah, before I dive into the exact tips and tricks and methods that we use to do copywriting, first of all, it's very important to know the mindset before you even start writing. The mindset behind it, the copywriting is basically text, video, message, or image, or any kind of content that has its main purpose to sell a product or service. So it's increasingly important on Amazon because that's a marketplace where people come to purchase things. And a lot of people are forgetting just how important it is to do your research, because one of the biggest mistakes in copywriting is to actually presume it's going to be read. It's very wrong, because what we know for sure is that right now 50% of the content online is being consumed through video. The other 50% is text, imagery, and all these other types of content. But when it comes to copywriting, if someone's attention, catches the first frame of seeing the page, seeing your product on the page, includes all these basic elements like the price and the images, the video, product title, bullet points, and whether it's in the buy box or it isn't, the number of reviews and the quality of reviews and all of that. So if this first frame that they see grabs their attention, it's your job to keep your attention on the listing. So that's the main purpose of copywriting on Amazon. And one of the ways how you can make sure that you have a high quality listing, 80% of copywriting is research and 20% is the actual writing. So if you don't have ideas what you should write about, that could possibly mean that you haven't done enough research yet. So, and you should do your research more. Basically, when it comes to doing your research, you need to know your ideal customer, what these people are like, what motivates them not only to make a purchase, but in life also, what's their main motivation. What's the problem that your product is going to solve to them and how they see it, and all these things. What are functionalities of the product that they value in their lives? So there are different great ways how you can build your buyer persona. That's how it's called. Basically, one of the great sources of information where people are really, really honest is Reddit. And I love doing it. So basically, we for example, we follow the Reddit resources for Amazon sellers. So basically, on the subreddits, you can find all kinds of topics. So if you're selling, one example, Jade Roller, you can possibly find some ladies that are writing about their skincare addiction, for example. That's the subreddit. It has 1.2 million members. You can really, really, really learn about the psychology of your shoppers online on places where they're being honest, right? So a lot of them use pseudonyms. They don't use their real names. So they're one of the main advantages that people love about Reddit is that they're being so honest. The other way how you can do your buyer persona research is through Quora. Basically, you can set up your Quora account within a couple of minutes by using some of the basic interests and then ask questions. People will give you answers, what they think about, and especially if they like something or dislike something, they'll be very passionate about giving you answers to it. So Reddit combined with Quora and asking questions is the way to go. One of the ways how we also tested out taste of our customers online is through PickFU tool, but it hasn't proven to be super precise because it does not yet offer you audience insights in terms of choosing who will answer your questions online. So for the time being, Reddit is being number one go-to station that we use when we are trying to prepare prepare a profile of our perfect ideal customer. So that's one of the topics that I wanted to talk about today. Identify your ideal customer, know who these people are, and have them really precisely determined in order to write a copy that resonates with them really well, that makes them feel understood, that joins their inner dialogue, that basically just joins them in what they're currently doing, so that this whole purchasing experience comes natural to them. That's the whole point.
When do you recommend putting together the customer profile? Is it before sellers use tools to do keyword research, or is it after?
If you're selling in a specific niche, even if you're not, like if you are doing just your product research, that's the phase when you should do your buyer persona research as well. You should know who you're selling to in order to estimate the market size, their motivation, to estimate the competition, and all these other things. So that's why it's super important to do this in the product research phase.
Okay, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So one of the other things that we love about copywriting is that you cannot do it wrong. You cannot do it never right enough either, but you can't do it wrong. Like in PPC, for example, in PPC you test out with money, and you can lose money if the idea was wrong. But when it comes to copywriting, it can also cost you money in lost sales, for example. But there is a way to improve this. So it's like an ongoing thing. It's never entirely done. So how you should approach this? Just try to do copy split tests through either some tools like Splitly. I'm going to show you this, Amazon listing optimization, that gives you more insights that are analytics-based and metric-based to know which version of your copywriting works best for your customers. But you can also just do it in a very simple way by testing out, for example, running the version A during a whole month and then running the version B during the next month and compare the results between the two copies. And then at the end of 2 months, you're going to have better comparison. These tools like Splitly can only make it faster, but at the end of the day, your creative process is what's going to make the difference. It's just a matter of time whether you're going to know about the results faster or sooner, basically. So, but in any case, we would recommend testing out the copy and seeing which works, especially once you enter the narrative for your customers, and also, just like learn what's their language that they use, what's the lingo that they use, and start using their own phrases for your product and for the situations that they're in, that your product solves, and all these things. So identify your ideal customer and split test the copy 100%.
Regarding split testing the copy, I understand that you recommend for sellers to be patient with testing. So it means that you can't really test and get good results with just doing one copy for 2 days and another one for another 2 days, but you rather suggest to do it for a period of month, for example.
Yeah, well, basically, when it comes to the timeline, it really depends on how fast you collect the data. For some listings, you will have it all clear within a week because they are so frequent and they're possibly, like a bestseller in their category, Amazon's Choice or something like that, that will make them collect the data faster. Some listings don't have as much traction, so they would obviously take longer to do. So depending on the tempo of you collecting data for your specific listing, it would make sense to make the test shorter or longer, depending on how fast you collect it. Okay, the third insight about copywriting is creating an irresistible offer. Basically, what does that mean? Using all these additional elements. So if you are investing money into PPC and you're driving traffic to your listing, you have to make sure it's absolutely something they can't resist. Like, for example, hopefully that starts with the product design and development, research and development, R&D phase of your product production. And then you will know what your product's unique selling propositions are so that you can create something that cannot really compare to the competition or really stands out. So when we're thinking about competition on Amazon, it's become really, really increasingly high. So standing out is going to be one of the ways how sellers actually, how their businesses survive on Amazon FBA. So using all these coupons, promotions, all these things combined with good copy is usually something that works as a great incentive for people to make a purchase online. So that's something that I would definitely recommend you add to your copywriting. If you have a good understanding who your ideal customer is and how they talk, and you test out and you use coupons and promotions and percentages off, especially during some of the sales holidays, then there's no way it's not going to work. Also, one of the things that I wanted to share is to make a list of features and benefits of your product so that you can compare, so that you can tie a benefit to every feature that your product has. So basically, what are you actually selling on Amazon and everywhere? When you're selling something, when you're selling a product or service, it's not that product or service that you're actually selling to your customer. Instead of that, you're selling them better versions of themselves. So what you need to do is really good job with copywriting is to show them how is this product going to make them better versions of themselves or solve them something in their lives that will make their lives better. So each benefit of your product should solve some problem to your customers or should make their lives better in some way. So tying features to the benefits of using the product is usually something that changes the perception of purchasing online into from starting from the point where they perceive purchasing a product like, oh, I have to give this much money to buy this product. Instead of that, you change the narrative to this costs only, like $20, but for that you get this benefit, and they're like, stop perceiving it as spending money. Instead of that, they're perceiving it as, I want this will solve my problem, this is the thing that I want, that I need. So that's the kind of thing that you achieve usually through tying your product's features to the benefits it brings to your customers.
And in addition to avoiding just listing like product features, can you name any other things that sellers should avoid when writing copywriting?
Yeah, they should avoid trying to sound salesy, and they should avoid applying their own mindset to writing the listing. Like, for example, you should 100% write in language that's your customer's language, not your own language. So if you're not a very technical person, but you sell, for example, something that's related to powering, or that's related, for example, power transformators, you have to have someone who's highly, highly technical write that listing, because that's the person that's going to understand your customers. One of the biggest mistakes is applying your own mindset and trying to do it yourself when there are people who know this category really well and enjoy writing for that specific category. So that's something that I would recommend avoiding. Trying to do it yourself even if you hire a copywriter, make sure you hire someone who's highly specialized for their category, so because you want to make sure they understand customers really well. And if you find someone good, it's usually best to stick to one copywriter only, because the more they understand your product portfolio, the more they work on it, every time it's just going to get better. So yeah, basically trying to avoid applying your mindset to the writing.
Thank you very much for these tips. Do you have anything else to share with us?
Yes. One of the very interesting things that we've noticed not a lot of sellers do is eliminate objections. So the sections where you should learn the most about the common frustrations that your customers have online is the reviews. Basically, Amazon's giving you everything, so make sure you harvest all that information. And that's also the reviews from your competitors and, of course, from yours. The ones where you learn the most are the bad ones. Basically, just learn about what makes them frustrated, and hopefully you did this even before you started developing a product in China or locally, wherever it is that you're organizing your production. So basically, eliminating these objections for common flaws that you see that others are making with the product is, and emphasizing that this was an objection that's been overcome, is something that usually helps really well with copywriting, that improves your credibility in front of the customers. So eliminating common objections through learning through reviews is one of the things that we usually do when we're writing the copy. Okay. One of the other ways that we use A+ content for is making a product comparison. And we also do this through infographics. So it's not 100% considered text copywriting, but it is considered copywriting in terms of other formats for content, is making product comparisons. That's just like once you've removed these common objections, you can compare if your product has more features for the same amount of money, or is cheaper, has the same features but better price than your competitors, or if your product can basically, it was made from different materials, or it wasn't made in China. It's become increasingly important for some customers that it was, for example, USA locally made. All these things are done through product comparisons. And we've seen some really professional listings show this either through product images on the infographics on the product images, either through some elaborate formats of A+ content. It's in the gray zone when it comes to A+ content. You're not specifically allowed to compare it with any other ASINs that they can find, the customers can find on Amazon. But it's just something that, you should do in a tasteful manner, because it adds more credibility to your listing. So when you're writing a product listing, it's a lot like building a case for lawyers. Like, for example, if there's a lawyer that is preparing a case for court, and they stack up all the arguments why they are right. So that's exactly the same mindset you should apply when you're writing your copy for your own listings on Amazon, why they should buy them this specific product. So all this serves the same purpose, identifying your ideal customer, creating an irresistible offer, also features, benefits, eliminating objections, making comparisons. All these things come together, just stacking up. And also, of course, adding credibility through some kind of certificates, through showing authenticity and authority as a brand usually helps a lot with conversion rates. And if that's the card that we can play, we usually play it 100% with copywriting. So that's one of the things, how you can improve specifically through copywriting. But since our main role is product listing optimization, it's not like just copywriting, it's more than that. On Amazon, it's more than that. And your copywriting and your product listing optimization has a twofold version of it. One of them being for ranking, for technical optimization, for organic ranks, and the other one being optimized for humans. Same like on Google, like when you're writing an SEO article, you have to make sure it's readable, but at the same time, technically optimized. So one of the things we're seeing with increasing competition is that conversion rates overall on listings are dropping. And the reason for it is that the customers are losing focus. Just Amazon's being bombarding them with additional suggestions, listings, see this, see that, too much choice. It just ends up being confusing. So all this confusion usually sometimes can lead to discouraging customers from buying. So in order to prevent this, so this is not like specifically like a copywriting tip, but in order to prevent customers' focus from diverting away from your listings, basically what you should do is bid on your own product. And Amazon is giving you the tools to do this now. Basically, they are allowing us to target products through sponsored display, which is basically one of the main aggressive placements on your own listing. So you can now afford and allow yourself to show up on your own listings, which is usually good for cross-selling and as protective strategy for PPC. And at the same time, you can target products for a very long time now through sponsored products, which automatically appear on your own listings if you target them. So that's one of the ways how you can improve your conversion rates on the listings. And also adding more videos to your listing is something that was 100% very, very relevant for this year. It's the highlight of this year of selling on Amazon, basically adding more videos. And not necessarily have to be professionally made and super expensive. We've seen ads that are very simple that still work. So just get it up and running and then improve it with time. The only thing that matters is that Amazon doesn't populate your listing with other products' videos, which they have to do. It's like an algorithm that arranges this. And if you don't have enough videos on your listing, they're just going to populate it with something else that they have that they estimate to be best for viewers. So that's one of the main two tips that I would recommend for sellers to improve their conversion rates, aside from just mere copywriting, basically. To sum it up, those are some of the tips I had. If you have any other additional questions, I'm happy to answer them, online and offline.
Thank you so much for covering a couple of things that are not straightly related to copywriting, but like overall optimization of the listing. Thank you so much for your time and for these tips. So if anybody has questions regarding to copywriting or listing optimization, then how they can reach out to you?
They can contact us through our website's contact form. amazoniappc.com is the website, so you can easily find us online, and feel free to reach us out.
Thank you so much, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you too. Thank you for having me.
I do hope some of these tips were useful for you and you will be able to implement them in your Amazon business. And don't forget to subscribe below to the YouTube channel of Orange Klik, because here we talk to different Amazon sellers and Amazon experts, software providers. And now I invite you to watch the next video, which you will find here in the corner. I believe this video can really help you to improve your Amazon business further. Bye-bye.